You're miles from nowhere, injured and alone. Night falls quickly, and your only hope is to survive. Find or build a shelter immediately to protect yourself from the elements and prevent hypothermia. Avoid foraging for unfamiliar plants unless you can positively identify them as edible with absolute certainty. Rely on emergency rations if available. Seek help by signaling for rescue using mirrors, bright clothing, or any other means possible while staying put in one spot. Let's face it, no one expects to get lost or injured in the wild. Even if you're well prepared, unexpected situations can arise. Time isn't on your side, so having a solid survival strategy is crucial. First, stay calm and assess your situation. If you're hurt, don't move unless it's safe to do so. Signal for help using bright colors, noise makers, or mirrors. Find shelter from the elements. A tarp or poncho can be lifesavers. Keep hydrated by purifying water if necessary. Untreated water can carry dangerous pathogens. Avoid eating wild plants without expert identification. They may look harmless but could be deadly. Always prioritize safety and legal regulations for hunting, trapping, fishing, and foraging when applicable. First things first, you're not moving. Pain and panic might urge you to hike out, but attempting it could be the worst mistake you'll ever make. No matter how far you are from civilization, staying put increases your chances of rescue significantly. You need to signal your location with fire or smoke. Find a spot that's highly visible, preferably near water or an open area where rescuers can easily see and hear you. Step 1. Find dry wood. Dry wood burns well, while wet or green wood can smother your fire. Look for dead branches hanging off live trees. These tend to be drier and easier to break. On the ground, avoid fallen branches with one end still touching soil, as they usually stay damp. Instead, focus on finding small, dry twigs that snap easily. Remember, safely starting a fire requires proper technique and attention to local laws regarding campfires in your area. In short, dry, small, sheltered from wind. Step 2. Gather tinder. Tinder is crucial for starting a fire. Pine needles, dead grass, and bark shavings are excellent options. Near water sources like streams or ponds, you might find dry moss attached to rocks. Break it into small pieces to ensure it ignites quickly with a spark. However, remember that collecting moss can harm the ecosystem, so use only what's necessary and consider alternative tinder if available. Here's the deal: without tinder, no fire. No fire, you freeze. Step 3. Create fire. Start by laying your tinder in a loose pile on the ground. Then place small twigs and branches over the tinder, building a nest of fuel that can catch and sustain the flame. If you have matches or a lighter, ignite the tinder carefully, being mindful to avoid dropping hot ashes or sparks around dry vegetation to prevent accidental fires. If you don't have matches and need to make a friction-based fire, here's how. First, gather materials. A knife can be used to scrape the inner bark of a dry stick into fine sawdust for tinder. Next, find 2 sticks, one for the drill, spindle, and another as the hearth board. Carve a small depression in the hearth board and place your sawdust there. Fit the spindle into this hole and start spinning it rapidly between your hands to create friction and heat. Keep rotating until you see smoke and ember. Transfer these carefully to your prepared tinder for ignition. Remember, always check local laws before gathering natural materials or altering the landscape on public land. Dry wood and tinder ignite fast. Wet wood snuffs them out. Step 4. Build shelter. Now that you have a fire, you need shelter. Look for natural structures like rock overhangs or dense bushes. If you don't find anything suitable, build your own using branches and foliage. Begin by setting up sturdy support beams. Look for 4 long, straight poles that can stand on their own to create a frame. Remember to gather materials well away from flammable areas, and always be mindful of local wildlife habitats when building your shelter. In short, start by building a sturdy frame for your shelter using strong, stable sticks and branches. Once you have a solid structure, layer on dry leaves, grass, and additional branches to create insulation and protect against the elements. The cold comes for you at nightfall. Shelter keeps you alive. Step 5. Water is crucial, but finding a clean and safe source isn't always easy in the wilderness. Running water from streams and creeks is generally safer than stagnant pools because it's less likely to harbor harmful pathogens. However, even running water should be treated before drinking, boiling, filtering, or using chemical treatments are reliable methods to make sure your water is safe. Always follow local laws regarding water rights and remember that in some areas, removing water from the environment may require permits or adhere to specific rules. You can use plants as indicators for finding water sources, but always exercise caution. Certain vines, like the trumpet creeper, might suggest a nearby water source underground, and hollow bamboo stems often contain rainwater. However, it's crucial to purify any collected water before drinking to ensure safety from pathogens that can cause illness. Always remember, never drink untreated water and follow proper purification methods. If there's no running water and you're stranded with limited options, digging a shallow pit in a low-lying, damp area might help collect morning dew. Place a sheet of plastic or another impermeable material over the pit to catch condensation as it forms overnight. This can serve as an emergency water supply, but it's crucial to purify any collected water before drinking to avoid harmful pathogens and prevent illness. Remember, always prioritize finding clean water sources when possible, such as spring runoff or a clear stream if nearby, and treat that water thoroughly by boiling or using purification tablets. In short, seek running water as it's the safest source. If unavailable, collect rainwater or morning dew using clean cloth, then purify by boiling before drinking. Always remember, untreated natural water can carry pathogens. Follow local laws and seasons for any survival activity, and never consume plants, mushrooms, or berries without positive identification from a credible guide or expert. Water keeps you hydrated, your body functioning. No water, no survival. Step 6. Signal. Now it's time to signal rescuers. A well-maintained fire is excellent for attracting attention. Its thick column of smoke can be seen from miles away. Keep your fire burning both day and night if possible, but ensure you're in an area where fires are legal and safe to start. If you don't have the means or it's unsafe to maintain a fire, use flares or reflective materials like foil to catch sunlight during the day. Always adhere to local laws and regulations regarding open flames and signaling devices. No signal, no help coming. Day 2, staying put. You're still in place. The sun rises again, but now you know what to do. Establish a daily routine that keeps you alive. Start by maintaining your fire. Ensure it's safe and under control. Gather plenty of firewood for fuel, and keep an eye out for potential food sources nearby. Remember, never eat any wild plants or mushrooms unless they are positively identified by an expert or field guide. Local laws also apply to hunting, fishing, and trapping, so be aware of the regulations before attempting to procure additional resources. If you have the means, try to signal for help every hour from dawn until dusk. Use signaling devices like flares or high-visibility materials whenever possible. Always remember to check local laws and regulations before setting up any emergency signals in protected areas. In short, fire, shelter, water, signal, repeat. You're here today because yesterday you stayed put. Keep doing that. Day 3. Assess your injuries. Today is about assessing your condition and tending to any injuries. If you have a first aid kit, now's the time to use it. Clean any wounds thoroughly with boiled or treated water to avoid infection. Cover them with sterile bandages if available, and stay dry and warm. Remember, untreated water can carry harmful pathogens, so always purify your water before drinking or using for cleaning. If you're hurt, rest is crucial. Use your fire to stay warm and secure throughout the night. Drink plenty of water. Do not drink untreated water from natural sources as it may contain harmful pathogens. Purify it first by boiling or using a filter. Eat only plants that you can positively identify with absolute certainty using field guides or expert help, as many look-alike species are poisonous. Signal for rescue whenever possible. Always check local laws and seasons before trapping, hunting, or fishing in an emergency situation. In short, rest, treat injuries, signal survival depends on it. Night falls again. You're still here, but now you have a plan. Start by setting up a reliable shelter to protect yourself from the elements and wildlife. Ensure you have a steady supply of clean drinking water. Boiling is the simplest method for purifying it, and find edible plants only after positively identifying them with an expert or field guide. Remember, trapping small game can provide food, but check local laws and seasons before setting any traps. Always prioritize safety and legality in your survival efforts. Day 4 and beyond, the days blur together in isolation, but each one follows a relentless routine. Establishing a secure camp with reliable fire and sturdy shelter, finding or purifying safe drinking water, and creating clear distress signals to aid in rescue efforts. Each day brings hope for salvation, yet also reinforces the stark reality of your predicament. Stay sharp, prioritize safety above all else, and never lose sight of the critical survival fundamentals. Here's what keeps you alive. Establish a daily routine. Use natural resources wisely and sustainably. Continuously signal for help whenever possible. In short, stick to your plan and stay visible. This is educational only. Foraging, hunting, and fishing carry real risks and are governed by local laws and seasons. Always verify plant and animal IDs with an expert. Follow your local regulations, and never eat anything you can't 100% identify. Night gives way to another dawn, and the cycle begins again. You wake up, check your body for any new injuries, tend to the old ones, and start a fire as soon as it's light enough to see clearly. Fire, the warmth of the flame, is your best friend. It's not just about keeping warm, it also helps signal for rescue. Smoke from your fire can be seen miles away under clear conditions, but always build fires responsibly to avoid starting wildfires.